All right, we are back on the track, cooking, this time with beef daube, which is a French beef dish. There's lots of different recipes. I'm using one with white wine, which is really bizarre. One would expect for beef it would be a red wine, but it's not. You can find beef daube recipes with red wine, but, you know, stick with the white. So now, you need, for this, you need 3 pounds of boneless beef chuck, which we have over here. You are going to brown it with some doggone olive oil, and then you're going to salt and pepper it and throw it in. Quite a bit of olive oil, because why not? And here's my pepper. I could have done this, you know, so you can see me, or maybe not. You know what I look like. Now, I'm not sure where I got this. I got this recipe, I think, out of some magazine a long, long time ago. They say generously salt. Well, you know, you either lightly salt, which is like almost none, or you just put salt on it, okay? We put salt on it. Turn on this thing to, they say medium. We'll put it on medium-high, because that's what you need. And we're going to dump that. In fact, we'll just dump it all in there. And it says, you know, don't dump it all at once, but, you know, why not? Hell, you want to cook this stuff, don't you? There's no sizzle because I just turned that on. For this, we are going to need, I've got a recipe. I always look at the same recipe. You don't need the recipe. You need some Dijon mustard. That's right. I recommend Roland Dijon. You can use any Dijon. If you're in France, you'd use a More, whatever. 14 ounces of some sort of tomato product. We're using this. You want everything in the can. You want the juice, the whole works. We want 3 medium-sized onions. Well, I didn't have them. I had 2 big ones, so with 3 medium-sized, I want to quarter it. So I cut it into, that's right, a bunch of smaller, like 6 versions of the same thing. What else do we want? We want a bottle of white wine, fine quality of white wine. Any white wine will do. I enjoy this stuff from Chile because it's cheap and it tastes good. So we've got some garlic, not a ton. They want a bouquet garni, which is a bunch of stuff put into cheesecloth. I have cheesecloth. I just don't want to deal with that. I don't care about that. So they ask for a leek, but they only want 2 little bits of the green part. So the green part in leek is when it's dirty. So you want to rip off your green parts. I cut them in half because I'm going to put them in here. Anyway, 2 leek greens. They want you to have thyme sprigs. We're just going to throw in some powdered thyme. You know, none of this stuff is very important. It's kind of weird. The bouquet garni might be important somewhere, but it's certainly not in this. Beef chuck, boneless beef chuck, is the cheapest beef you can buy. You want to get 3 pounds, and you want to have them cut it into 4-ounce pieces. So anybody who sells you meat can do that for you. They'll have it. It's not going to just be sitting out. This is something I got in the refrigerator. Because, you know, nobody buys a slab of beef chuck. Because it's the cheapest thing they can sell, and they don't really want to sell it to you. So we brown this. You're supposed to brown it on all sides. Well, you know, it's going to cook for a good long time. So if you just brown it on 2 sides, don't you think that'll be enough? Well, yeah, it will be. I'm going to flip it over and brown the other side. And then we put in a whole bottle of white wine. Again, whatever you do, don't go out and buy some really expensive white wine for this. That would be insane. The idea that you drink what you cook with is bogus. You cook with what is drinkable but cheap. Alright, come on. Sorry about this. This might take a little bit of time, but, you know, it's got to be done. Oh, yeah. There's one that actually looks brown. Most of these don't look too brown. There's a lot of fat in beef chuck, and as it cooks, the fat will come to the surface, and every day that you deal with it, because this is a 3-day process. We don't get to eat this right away. It takes 3 days if you're doing it right. You can do it in 2, but we're not going to do it. We're going to do it in 3. So I pity the fool who enjoys the idea of rare or medium rare meat, because, you know, that's impatient meat. It's like al dente pasta is, you know, poorly cooked pasta. So I did flip that over because I could see that that was just too red. That's stupid for this. So this is brown enough. You know, it doesn't make any difference how brown it is, but it'd be nice if it was a little brown because, you know, there's a presentation 3 days from now. So now, dump in your, they'd probably like you to take out the meat and do this without the meat in there, but again, who cares? We're putting in an entire bottle of cheap white wine. Not impossibly cheap. It's got to be, you know, it's got to be decent white wine, but not expensive white wine. Alright, let's see here. Now I've put on some pepper, and I put on some salt. Probably enough, but it just looks like I could use some more pepper. I like pepper. Now is the time to put in 2 tablespoons, and that's not important how much that is either, of mustard, Dijon mustard. It could be probably more. Probably shouldn't go out of your way to make it less than that. Stir that in. I'm going to throw in my chunks of garlic here, because why not?
What did you say earlier about garlic?
I don't know what I said. Nancy, what do you think I said? I said,
if you're going to be a chef.
If you're going to be a chef, you got to pretend to enjoy cutting up garlic. Except for those people in Saint Louis and Paris, they don't even bother taking the outside off. And I did just because I thought, why not? Okay, now for the onions. A lot of onions, but really that's only a few. And our fabulous 14 ounces of pre-cut up, pre-made by people who know what they're doing, tomatoes. Stir that in. Now you'd like to get this so that it's in some sort of liquid there. We got a lot of liquid, so come on, we can do this. Now the bouquet garni, which we're not going to bother with, we're just going to throw in our stuff. We're going to put in some leek. We're going to put in some parsley. That's right, parsley. Flat leaf parsley. It doesn't make any difference how much you put in. We should put in our leaf, our stem of thyme, which we don't have, so we're just going to pour some thyme in there. Bay leaves, yeah. And because we don't have a bay leaf plant in our backyard, we're just going to throw in some, that's right, dry apple bay leaves that you can buy anywhere at a surprisingly stiff rate. I'm going to bury this in the liquid, of course. Again, why not? Oh, I've got my fan on now for you. We don't want that. Sorry about that. Get those leeks down there because why not? They want the leeks. And that's it. So we're going to cover this and we're going to cook it for a while. Cook it on a fairly low level. And we're going to cook this probably for, you know, at least a half an hour, maybe an hour. It doesn't make any difference. Oh, and they want a pinch of sugar. That's right. So throw in a little bit of sugar at the end. And then after a while, we're going to take this out, cool it down. We're not going to see me do that. And we're going to throw it in the refrigerator overnight. And then tomorrow, that's right, we yank it out and we warm it up. And we cook it for a while. And then we do the same thing. We put it in the refrigerator overnight. And then on the 3rd day, we take it out and scoop off any fat on top. And we throw it in, I think we should throw it in the oven at that point. If I had, that's right, the Lodge cast iron thing, I might have even put it in the 1st or 2nd day as well. It doesn't make any difference as long as you can put something that's covered in the oven at some point, because I think it's important that you cook it in the oven for a little while. And we'll probably cook it on the 3rd day for about an hour. So, you know, this needs to be cooked 3 different times. It's worth it. You should do it. So, let me tell you my story about beef daube, which is, I found this recipe a long time ago. I don't know where, it was in some magazine. This is how I deal with my magazine articles. And I cut it out, and then I've been making it ever since. However, once I was in France, in Provence, in a place called Les Arcs. And Les Arcs has a good restaurant, which I went to. I had reservations, and had a lovely meal. And it was lunch. And then I got in my car and left, and I went some direction, I think it was north, and I ended up going through Tour, which is a charming, very small town down there. And in Tour, I mean, it was still basically lunchtime. You know, lunch starts at 2, well, it goes till like 4, so it was probably 3:15 or so. Maybe it was closer to 4. Anyway, so in Tour, I was going down the road and I saw a little sandwich sign that said, you know, today, beef daube. And I thought, oh my God, I just ate. But I pulled over, I went in, and I ordered beef daube. And of course, it was spectacular. Probably not quite as good as this stuff, but still, it was spectacular. So, I just love this. It is a ultimate peasant meal. Alright, day 2 of beef daube. Remember, it takes three. This is 3 in France. This is 3 here, so don't make that mistake. Beef daube. Now, we take it out of the refrigerator. Been there overnight. And then, oh yeah, okay. Alright, it's heavy. Oh yeah, it's heavy. And then what we've got to do here is we've got to scoop off whatever fat we can find. Jeez. Boy, incredibly enough, there is like no fat that's come to the surface. That's really weird. Alright, well, I bet tomorrow we'll find some fat. Alright, now, we're going to do this, we could do this in the oven, but we're going to do it on top. So I'm going to turn this on to, dare I say, medium-low. Covered up. And day 2's worth of cooking is, we're going to leave it on for 3.5 hours. Put it back in the refrigerator. Tomorrow I'm going to put it into the oven. And then I'm going to let that go for about 3 hours. And again, take it out. On the 3rd time you could just eat it if you wanted to, after you cooked it again. It's got to cook 3 times. Alright, so back tomorrow. Alright, day 3 on French daube. Thank you, Nancy, for the fine tea there. French daube takes 3 days to do. This is the 3rd day. So we're going to take it out of the refrigerator and just throw it in the oven. I'm going to set it for 325 in the oven, although you could set it for 350. It's going to cook for, roughly speaking, 3.5 hours in the oven. So first we take it out, and we scoop off any fat that's accumulated on top. That's not very important, but you know, you don't want to be constantly reheating a bunch of fat. I see that we have very little liquid in here now. So we're going to add, you know, we're just going to add some water, because water's good, and a little bit of water will be helpful now because it's got to cook again and it needs some sort of liquid. Stir it up just a wink maybe. Alright, let's see here. We'll call this good enough. Could use a little more water, but we're not going to deal with that. And then we simply throw it in the infamous oven. Which reminds me of one guy that's on television. He says, if I can do it, you can do it. Well, if I can do it, you might be able to do it. If you try hard enough, you could. Okay, that's it. Now we'll take this out in 3.5 hours, and that's right, tonight we're going to eat it. You're not going to see us eat it though, but there you go. Alrighty. The evening of day 3 for beef daube. That's right, beef daube. It's been in here for 3.5 hours, and I think it's time to take it out. And that's exactly what we're going to try to do now. Should have come in with these on, shouldn't I have? Well, we're putting them on now. Turn the doggone oven off. Oh, boy. Alright. Man. Oh, yeah. Alright. Now, there we have it. There, look at this. Beef daube. Again, I don't think I need to show you how to put the food on a plate. You just dump it on. You don't carefully place it. You don't place it nicely. You just get it from there to there. So, that's it. Excellent tea, Nancy. Excellent.